Good. Hi, everybody. We can get started with a topic that we prepared coming all the way from Croatia, from Sofascore. I'm going to be talking today about one of the key features that we developed, implemented in our product, and some things were planned, some things just happened, how it became a global trend, recognizable not only for our brand, but also a very great addition to the football industry nowadays, I would say. To start off with, yes, this is me while I was just a kid. I guess there were signs that I might be going into the football and sports direction. Maybe I was trying with the bow tie already to present myself as a possible entrepreneur. 20-something years later, here I am, definitely connected with both business and sports. I'm very happy to say that I'm running the marketing department of one of the leading sports tech platforms and live score apps in the world. We're not here to talk about me. Gonna do the same quite fast with Sofascore as a brand who's not familiar with us. No, we did not start in a garage like a lot of different other businesses, but we had quite a fun start as well. Founders, both from Croatia, their first attempt at something digital was actually a website covering the lyrics of one of the most popular Croatian musical artists called 𝐒𝐨𝐴r Dragojević. There, they got the feeling of what's possible in the web industry. They liked it. The next choice was obviously going to be sports. And that's how the Sofascore story started back in 2010. These are some milestones that we'd like to push out from the first app built in 2011, expanding not only worldwide coverage, but with employees on other continents. Our side app, Sofascore Editor, who is now Sofascore Torneo, also we did the rebranding, and we're proud to say that now we count over 300 employees worldwide. As a product, from just beginning as a live score app, we quite fast expanded, featuring some other things that I'm going to talk about today. But where we are today with the coverage of over 25 sports, we did start primarily as a football live score app, quickly expanded to other sports, covering a lot of different leagues, not only top-tier football, but lower league as well, amateur sports, women's sports, the whole shebang. Counting over 30 million monthly active users and coverage in 30 different languages. The question, of course, when we started off was, how are we going to differentiate ourselves from all the competition? Yes, there were competition already alive when we started. We were aware of that. We weren't scared of the competition and what they would bring, but from the beginning, we already started to think, what else can we do besides just delivering the fastest possible results there are and the basic statistics that we can do? From this point, we started to develop our own features. I hope some of these features are quite famous already for the people who are using our product. From attack momentum to shot maps, who are now also 2D and 3D, score graphs, attribute overviews. Every time we were developing something like this, we were thinking of what else is there that can be developed that would be of high interest to our audience, to provide them the experience that the world nowadays is looking for, because from 20, 30 years ago, nowadays, it's a whole different experience. We're not just watching the game, we're also doing quite some other stuff while watching to enhance our football experience. Some of these already showed us as well how we can go into the viral direction and how adopted these features were. So we had quite an interesting case last year from a fan in Brazil, Botafogo. They won the Copa Libertadores, and for some crazy reason, he decided to take our attack momentum and put it as a lifelong memory from the game that he will remember his whole lifetime, I would say. This already shows the direction that we also as a company consider we have to go into, and connecting the emotional part of the football game and sports in general with the boring stats and live score elements that you can provide to them. These are all cool, quite good features that we developed and we continue to develop, but one stood out from the beginning when we developed it.
Mbappe's mind-blowing dribbles, Ronaldo's impossible goals, De Bruyne's insane assists. Standout moments live long in your memory, but others slip under the radar. To ensure no touch of the ball goes unnoticed, we created an algorithm that became the industry standard for assessing player excellence. Sofascore Rating, a single number encapsulating all of the player's performance stats. Ranging from 3 to 10, the rating is affected by over 100 data categories. Each category contributes to the rating, either positively or negatively. There are also things that the rating is immune to, such as players' previous stats, gravity of the match, or any human input whatsoever. 10 is the number of minutes of play needed to generate the first ratings. Each player starts with a 6.5 rating, and that number is updated 60 times during and after the match. Currently, there are 200 competitions with players' ratings available. Among the millions of ratings calculated so far, the most common one is 6.8. And the least common one, received on only 4 occasions, is 3.3. A pretty rare sight is a perfect 10. Just 1 in 3,000 performances receives it. Unless you're Messi, then it's 1 in 12. Not only did 2 out of 3 users make decisions based on Sofascore Rating, they also discover a new player or a club that way. We're here for all the key passes and low-key ones, the flashy dribbles and subtle take-ons, the long-range screamers and simple tap-ins. We're here because every move counts.
And this became one of our key features from 2015 moving on. One of the main reasons behind all of this, no, we did not invent the rating in sports. We all know here that basically the media, I don't know how many decades before, started to rate the players playing the game, each game afterwards. We were looking at a different angle on how we can connect something that's already there in the game, that is very interesting, and that's a topic that people like to talk about post-game, with one of our unique propositions and one of the elements that we became famous for, which is, of course, stats. Our approach mainly came from the idea of developing something that can be considered the most objective rating in the game, based only on stats, based only on data, with zero human influence whatsoever, although we quite a lot get some inquiries from players and clubs on trying to get explanation why they got a bad rating or a good one. But we were very proud to say that this has become and will always stay something that is developed by our unique algorithm. Our first move, of course, when we decided to go into this direction, is to see how we can integrate it as perfect as possible in our product. Then already we had quite a good product with quite a lot of users on a daily basis. So that was the first element that we decided that has to be as perfect as possible. And it's still nowadays a never-ending story. We still see from implementing it on the lineups page to showcasing after each game is finished who the player of the match is, to showing also not the player of the match, but the team of the seasons and the players of the seasons. After we were happy with how we integrated this into our product, of course, the marketing department took over because proof of concept became something viable in our product, but then marketing has to see how we can push this out as best as possible, without regardless of the obvious ones that we continue to produce it on a high level. Year after year, we see which leagues we need to integrate into this algorithm as well, covering having the biggest coverage worldwide. 2 key elements which came into play when we started to push this more and more out were our digital channels. Of course, as a digital-first platform, this was a no-brainer for us, having quite the following on social media, not only on an international level, but also having local social media accounts in our key markets. We started to develop quite some stories behind the rating itself, not only from games that are being played on a weekly basis, but also diving deeply into the historical, legendary games that all of us as kids had the opportunity to watch, that people are still nowadays talking about, like the Hand of God of Maradona and similar stuff. But also looking at other outlets, digital outlets that we can utilize as part of our main goal to be the most famous rating in the world. And this is where media partnerships also kicked in. We now have a network of over 100 media outlets across the world, where on a daily basis, on demand, they request us to create together with them graphics telling the stories that come out on media every day. And this was also a key element into expanding the story about Sofascore Rating as best as possible. These are all efforts that we decided to embark on, pushing a new product onto the market and seeing where it could stick and what we can accomplish. What we were not aware of, I would say in the beginning, this was a goal more than something that we thought that would happen very easily, is from the beginning it became quite obvious that this was definitely something that was missing in the game of football, how it is consumed today. And that's where we saw the tracking that it gained and how the next step of our plan of promoting this would kick in, and we embraced it quite good, I would say. From the players themselves, without any push from our sides, they decided to organically take over these ratings, confirming that it's become a topic inside the locker rooms as well as through various different medias, sharing the content that we produce on a daily level through our social media networks. I think I don't have to explain who these gentlemen on the pictures are. On different networks, of course, we have social media networks on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, depending on which market where the other platforms are popular. We are not afraid to activate those as well. And the players as well decided that could be a cool feature that they share on a regular basis. We were not afraid after that to also start to engage these players with different inquiries, helping together to create the stories that we like to tell and for which we were famous for, and which helped us accumulate over 1 million followers across our social media channels. Frequently, we decide, depending on the topic, to engage with different players, and getting those answers back very fast is something that our social media team is very proud of, and definitely in a direction that we will be pursuing much more in the future. Not only did the players start to use it with our graphics that we produce, but then it got upgraded even more with a legendary club such as Borussia Dortmund creating their own graphics around the story of the Sofascore Rating. This is something that also shows how they took only the feature that we developed but tried to integrate it into their storytelling. We, of course, respect every time they invite us to have a collaboration post, because that's the way to do marketing together with such institutions such as Borussia Dortmund. This is something that came to life last year, again proving the rating becoming more and more integrated into pop culture as well. We have to be very honest and straightforward about this. This was not a paid collab. We in the office weren't even aware of this song when it got released, but it became quite viral very fast in the UK.
Sofascore says 9, would be 10 if the ops went diving. 110 on my wrist, I'm thriving. Caught by Clint, I went skydiving. My London heat map's crazy, I wish that it worked, I can't go back. Too many goals from Central, we went to the party with gang and we led the attack. Like, only thing you need is me.
Not only the artists pushing it out, but also football clubs adopting this song and the lyrics from it to announce superstar players such as Jadon himself to Chelsea. The media partners that I already mentioned also decided to upgrade this even more with a beautiful example from Gazzetta dello Sport, one of the leading media houses in Italy, not only using our rating in the graphics that we show them, but deciding to push the already known journalist ratings on the side and taking our rating as the rating that they're going to feature inside their articles after each game is being played. Another very nice example of how this feature really organically got integrated into the sports world. Also, two very cool things that happened last year with Golazzo, one of the most famous football shows in the world. We got ambushed a bit.
Did that result tell you more about Dinamo Zagreb, more about Bayern Munich? How do you read that?
Oh, what about that for a coincidence? We've actually got some Zagreb fans here, just behind us, from Sofascore. How are you guys feeling?
It was tough.
Remember better times.
All games to be commented on, so you can...
Oh, yeah.
After that score, you'll be playing in the next game.
2 goals. You happy with that, the 2 goals?
Better something than nothing.
Okay.
There's always another game.
AC Milan scored only 1, we scored 2.
We've got another popular tweet that we've also spotted, Jamie. I think you'll appreciate this one.
Top stats!
That's me wallpaper for me phone, that.
Was the beer strong over there, Jamie?
It was, yeah, it's lively. It's lively.
So, this was the first video that came to life, actually. Besides just pushing the actual rating, I already mentioned a couple of times how storytelling is very important. We recognized an opportunity when Jamie went to the Borussia game and he announced that he will be watching it from the stands with the Borussia Dortmund fans. So why not create a story around that and giving Jamie Carragher a beer rating with the beer that he consumed there, because after the game he did an interview with Jadon, where during this interview it was very noticeable that he was a bit under the influence of all the beer that he drank, and he was touching the player the whole time on his shoulders during the interview. And our social media team recognized this and created a variation of the Sofascore rating and our heat maps of the areas where Jamie was very fond of Jadon Sancho during the interview. This got picked up by the Golazzo show as well and featured in their live game during the Champions League weeks. The other one, the video, was quite an ambush that they prepared for us. After this got viral with Jamie, they invited us to be guests at the London show. And basically what they said, sit down, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be covering everything after the games with interviews with all the hosts. And at one point, they just turned the cameras towards us to include us as well. After the first round of the new format of the Champions League, the moment was at the same time very exciting, but if we could have chosen a different moment for Croatian football, we definitely would, because that was the game where we lost as Dinamo Zagreb fans from Bayern Munich 9-2. But that's also part of the game, I guess, so definitely a fun experience from last year. Then looking at challenges ahead of us, it's always a saying also in Croatian, but I think it applies internationally, that it's much easier to get on the top than to stay on the top. And this is a challenge that we also openly accept from year to year. After such success with our rating, both on our channels and on different international channels, and being picked up very frequently from various different directions, we also were thinking of, okay, how else can we integrate this into the nowadays of sports? We already had something in place before called our Sofascore Player of the Season Award, but it was a bit of a side project, that we didn't put too much attention to. And last year we decided to level that up as well. With a complete new redesign of the trophy, again putting the Sofascore rating in first place, but trying to see how we can connect again two different elements, the emotional part of the game and the statistical part of the game. We decided to do the redesign in collaboration with Zico, one of the biggest legends of Brazilian football, but I would say on a world level as well. He has a football academy in Rio de Janeiro, and the whole story behind the new trophy is perfection is what drives you, persistence is what counts. Very easily explained into putting together the dreams of becoming the next big thing. I think a lot of people here in this room started off kicking that ball when we were younger and dreaming of becoming the new Pelés, the new Zicos, the new Ronaldos, Maradonas, and everybody. But it's actually the persistence element that pushes you to become a star player. We renovated the football field from Zico's Football Academy to provide a better chance to all the young kids playing there, and took elements of the field and put it into the trophy itself. So each trophy that's given out to the players who become the best players of the season, of their leagues, actually get a trophy which consists of actual football field from a Brazilian pitch, reminding them of where they started at one point with those elements of the field, and rewarding them for becoming the best players of their seasons. This is something also that started to become very heavily accepted in the football world, with very beautiful pictures and videos that they like to share with us upon receival of their trophies. The trophy comes with quite a nice story about the campaign, and also, of course, a custom-made explanation on why they become the best player of their leagues, more diving deeply into the statistic element and helping them also to understand what they achieved. And the response was very, very nice. What's next? As you might have noticed, we are very open to coming up with new elements year after year. There are some elements that will definitely show where we are heading in the future, and we're very happy for all the challenges that will be in front of us. I cannot talk anymore about the things that we have in store, but what I can say is to follow us, of course, and find out firsthand what else we have prepared and cooking to put this even more out into the world and to really become the element that needs to be here for all the new people consuming sports on a daily basis. Thank you very much.